Yeah, so this is my step one of basically how to get into astral projecting. I'd like to see how this flies with you guys and see what questions you have, because questions can really generate how I can make videos and answer. When I know what you guys are looking for, then I can know what answers to provide to you. So please feel free to let me know, kind of what you need, and I'll be happy to help. All right, guys. Bye. Morning, everybody. This will be my first video in my new astral projection masterclass. First, a little bit of background. Growing up, astral projection wasn't called astral projection for me. My grandfather is a Native American medicine man. We're part of the Creek tribe, more specifically the Porch Band Creeks, or the Muskogee. We're not part of the nation that has the reservation in Oklahoma, although those are our kinsmen. We call this dreamwalking. So growing up, my grandfather used to talk to me about dreamwalking, and he would tell me that whenever he needed to heal someone, he would go into his dream, and he would be in this shop, and the shop would have shelves lined with different ingredients, different plants, different vials with little labels on them. Sometimes he could read them, sometimes he could not. There were also other older people walking around in there. He said there was some young people who looked like in their eyes they were thousands of years old, but their bodies were young. So they're all walking around this little store, and he would stop sometimes and ask one of them, what is this? Or he would tell them an ailment that he was looking to cure, and they would point him in the direction of an herb or a tincture or something like that. And then he would go wake up in his real life, go find it and use it, and that person would actually get healed. I was like, man, that's so cool. So he started teaching me how to do it when I was little. And the very first step is to lay on your back, or better yet, lay in a chair that you can kind of lay down halfway, so you're at a 45-degree angle. For some reason, that's a really good position because it's a little bit harder to fall all the way asleep, but it's easy to fall into that kind of trance-like state that you need to be in. Excuse me, I've had a bit of a cold. So I like to lay in my bed. So I'll lay down on my pillow, and I'll take my hands. I don't like to cross them, because when I cross them, I have a harder time with it, but when I put them together, or just on my stomach, I lay there, my head, I take my pillow and fold it up a bit and prop it forward so that that drip doesn't make you have to focus on swallowing. So what you want to do is you lay there, you get nice and relaxed, and then you start doing this breathing. Like you're asleep. And you want to continue that. Sometimes at first, 45 minutes to an hour you may have to be doing it. I've even heard of people taking 2 hours before they get anywhere near an astral projection. So you really want to sit there and you want to breathe as if you're already asleep. Okay? And I didn't realize I used this technique, but Ryan Cropper, he's a guy on YouTube who teaches a lot about astral projection. And he said to think of a time when you've fallen asleep, or when you catch yourself falling asleep. And I think that's right. But I would think of that moment where you're falling asleep, but you're falling and you catch yourself falling. When you're like, that scares you. Think about that feeling and imagine that within your body. So while you're breathing, think of the time that you had fallen asleep. And think of that and keep breathing, and do not move. Because basically when you move your body parts, you start all over again. So what you want to do is you want to sit there and breathe and breathe and breathe until all of a sudden your body will start to feel like it's not there anymore, or like it's gone completely numb, almost like you cut off the circulation and it's gone. What's happening is your brain is systematically shutting off parts of your body as you go to sleep, because it's thinking that you're falling asleep. But what you're trying to do is maintain your consciousness, your awakeness, while you go to sleep. That's what the goal is. So you lay there, your body parts start to fall asleep. Once you start to feel that, you'll start to get this weird little warmth, this weird little goosebumpy, tingly feeling going through your body. Just keep breathing, keep thinking about that time you fell asleep, okay? And when your body goes completely numb, okay, it'll start to do this thing where it'll vibrate a little bit. It'll be like, or even beyond that, you might feel like you've twitched. Like, whoa, I twitched. That's okay. Just let it happen, but don't think, oh my God, I've ruined it. Don't ever think that. Just continue what you're doing. Let your body do what it's doing, because when you're asleep, you move around. It's normal, it's natural. Okay, so you're getting into this stage, deep breathing, you're thinking about a time you fell asleep, your body's starting to get numb. This is the part when you've finally done it, maybe 45 minutes in, your body starts vibrating. Once that vibrating goes away and you're completely numb, just your body has to be completely numb to where you're not feeling it anymore at all. Just your breathing, and even that's starting to become something that's automatic. At that point, I like to use my bathtub float method. Okay, so the bathtub float method I learned one day when I was in a garden tub, and I was sitting there, and I would take a deep breath, and I would float a little, and then I would let out my breath, and I would sink. Take a deep breath, float a little, let it out, sink. So I started doing that during my bedtime rituals, and I would breathe in and pretend I was floating up, and then I would breathe out and pretend I was floating down. So my body's here. So I'd be like this, right? And then eventually I'd float up a little higher, and on the out breath, I would try to go down into my bed past my body. So like this. So deep breath in, deep breath out, deep breath in, deep breath out. And I kept doing that until I got a weird sense of being outside of my body. And then at some point, on the up, hopefully not on the down, because I don't know what would happen if you came out in your bed like that. I've only done it on the up, but when you come on the up, all of a sudden, you break away. There are other techniques you can use, such as the silver rope that falls down here, and your astral arms, you imagining them grabbing it and pulling you up. Or, once your body's gone completely numb, this works for some people, just stand up to go to the bathroom. Okay? So, this is kind of the beginning of how you would get into an astral projection. And I can tell you some tips that if you eat well, especially if you fast, this has an amazing effect on astral projection. But if you eat well, healthy, eat light, don't eat within 2 or 3 hours of bedtime at all, so you have a chance for your body to digest, potentially have a bowel movement before bed, because all of these things keep you weighed down. So if you drink a lot of water, eat a lot of healthy vegetables, or even fast when you're trying to astral project, it will be better. So try laying down, try sitting in a chair. I have a chair in my bedroom that's perfect 45. It works amazing. I would not suggest listening to binaural beats and things like that, because there's stuff in the music that can change. I would rather you just be in your natural environment. Yeah, so this is my step one of basically how to get into astral projecting. I'd like to see how this flies with you guys and see what questions you have, because questions can really generate how I can make videos and answer. When I know what you guys are looking for, then I can know what answers to provide to you. So please feel free to let me know, kind of what you need, and I'll be happy to help. All right, guys, bye.